So I identified 4 things that I think should be happening and that you should feel and you should have if you are in the right therapist-client relationship. So see if you have these 4 things, and if you do, then it's probably a good fit, and if you don't, then maybe it needs some evaluating further. So let's jump into that. Hi everybody. So I get this kind of question a lot, or in different ways. Usually it's people coming to me and asking, if there's a problem with their therapist, or if there's a problem with kind of how things are going, or if they should change, or if it's them, right? Is it them or is it me? So that's kind of what comes up a lot. So I sort of was thinking about that, and I listed out 4 things that I think you should feel and see in the therapeutic relationship if it's the right fit. So I'm gonna get into all of those today. And always please ask questions if you have any, or comments or anything like that. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, guys, I'd love it if you subscribed and turned on the little bell notification button if you want notifications when new videos come out. If you've already subscribed, thank you and welcome, and I'm so happy to have you as a part of this little community that hopefully we can support each other and really help each other in. So yeah, that is that. So the first thing I think that is kind of obvious, but is big, is that, does it feel right? Does it feel like the right fit? Because most of the time, if you're asking me and you're sending this message, or you Googled this or YouTubed this video, is this the right fit? I don't know if my therapist is right for me. That probably means there's something there that's telling you that it's not, right? If you're happy and content with everything, you're probably not asking this question. So that's kind of the one thing that I'm like, does it feel right? Is there something there that's bothering you? And if there is something there that's bothering you, what is it? Because that's the place that we can get into further and start to identify, okay, this is the problem, or this is the issue, or this is my insecurity, or this is the wrong fit here. And that can lead us to being able to decide, is this something that you should stick with this person and continue working on, or is this something that means you should try to find somebody different? And that can give us a lot of information. So the second one goes right into that. So if we've looked at that and we figured out like what is right with this and what is wrong and what doesn't feel good and what does, a lot of times what happens is people will identify, okay, the style is wrong. And maybe you won't be able to verbalize that because you don't recognize that, but that's often what we come to. So ask yourself, is this person's style right for me? Does it work for me? So some therapists have more of a structured kind of style, especially if it's like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT or DBT also. That tends to be more structured. So this is the format that we go through. This is what we talk about. This is what we check in about. This is your homework. This is the number of sessions, that kind of thing. And that varies obviously in how structured it is or not, but that kind of works for some people and really doesn't for others. So if you're trying to make it work for you and it's not, like you just want to be able to go in and talk about whatever you want to talk about, then that style is probably not working for you. Or if you are going in and just talking about whatever and you want more structure, that style maybe isn't working for you. So see if that is kind of a factor. And sometimes, it's helpful for me to know what the person wants and needs, because I can adjust my style a lot, right? I can change and adapt and adjust for you. Some people can't or don't want to or don't like to or whatever, but it's worth kind of talking about, right? But I think it's good to look at that. So for me, I have a bit more of a relaxed style. I want to open up the floor for you. I want to create safety and space for you. And I want to work into the deeper things as you're ready and as you can. I'm not going to push you somewhere you're not ready to go. I'm not going to add too much structure, too much anything to it unless I know that's what you want. So I'm a bit more relaxed, I would say, if there's like a scale of all of this. And I like worksheets and homework and stuff to take home, so you can have things to work through issues and to keep working on them and processing them, even if we're not in session or even if you're not contacting me in that moment. So look at that. Is the style right for you? So look at my little notes to make sure that I'm not missing these. Okay. Do you feel like they understand you? Do you? That's a huge one. Like sometimes people will be like, I just don't feel like my therapist understands me. Well, that's a big deal. If they don't understand you, then that's probably a problem, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you should leave right away, but it could mean that it's not the right fit. There's maybe some ways that you guys need to get on the same page. There's maybe some ways that you can try continuing to explain this in a different way. And if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to, obviously. But if you choose to try and maybe explain it in a different way or try to get better understanding from them, and if you keep trying and it's just not working, then maybe it's just not the right fit. And as in any relationship, some relationships form more naturally than others and we have more natural understanding, and some don't. And a lot of that can be worked on, especially in the therapeutic relationship, because that creates space for us to be able to work on these things. And some can't. Some, like, it just never feels right. You just never feel like they really get you, right? Excuse me. But so that is something to work on and to look at and to evaluate. Because it's really important that you feel understood and seen and valued and all of that stuff. It's really, really important that you feel that. So I want you to feel understood. And if you're talking to me, if you're seeing me and you're not feeling understood, I want you to tell me, and I want us to keep working on that until I understand you and until you feel like I understand you and you're like, okay, yeah, you get it, she gets it. And that's something that they should be making an effort on. So even if there's times that they don't get it or they're having a hard time understanding, the effort to try and understand and keep working on that should be there. So you have to have that. So even if there's issues, you have to be seeing someone who wants to try and continue working to understand what you're going through and what that looks like and how they can help, right? So that is the third. What was my fourth? Yes, the fourth thing is you feel safe. Now, I want to talk through this more because therapy isn't comfortable. So if you're like, I'm uncomfortable, this isn't fun, this isn't like, you know, I just feel uncomfortable. Well, that may not be a bad thing because therapy isn't comfortable often. Growing isn't comfortable. Facing our trauma sure is not comfortable. Facing our issues, facing our insecurity, digging up past stuff and pain, that is not comfortable at all. So if someone says, I'm uncomfortable a lot, but I do feel safe and I do feel like I'm growing, perfect. That's sort of that nice combo. We want you to feel safe, and you should feel safe sharing. And you may not be comfortable. So those are the things that I want to address there. And there's different levels of being uncomfortable. So some of my clients are really uncomfortable because they're so uncomfortable sharing and talking about themselves and their trauma with anyone. So we know that that's not necessarily an issue with me. It's their whole lives. They're uncomfortable with sharing it all. They're uncomfortable with therapy. They're just really uncomfortable with the whole process. But that's not bad. It's good that they're here, and it's good that we're working on it, and we're gonna keep working on it. So that's not the kind of thing that would mean that you should change or you're not in the right fit. If you're uncomfortable as in you feel like the person could judge you, like your therapist could judge you, or you don't want them to react negatively or that kind of stuff, then that could be more of a problem. If it's actually true, we often have the fear that someone will react negatively or someone will judge, but it's actually not true, right? And my clients could feel that about me, as in they could be scared to share because they're uncomfortable sharing, and sharing has been met with a lot of judgment before, so that fear comes up. But it's not actually real because they know in this relationship that I won't judge them and I won't react negatively to that. So they can identify, and we talk about that. Like they say, I have this fear and I'm scared to share this, even though I know you're not going to judge me and I know you're not going to react negatively. And we can work through that, and they can talk through, you know, the past instances where it has gone poorly, which is often, you know, the family relationship, or they had that with their parents, or a really abusive partner or something. So we can look at that and we can identify that this isn't an issue with my therapist. This is an issue, then a fear that I have in my life and that I want to work through, but I feel safe working through it with this person. So those are the things that I think are really important that you should look at. So as you look at this list and you look at these things, do you have these? Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable sharing? Do you feel understood? Do you feel like your therapist makes an effort to understand you? Do you feel like they're non-judgmental and accepting and open, and that they try to make space for you to feel comfortable and adapt to the style that you want or you need or you feel, and really make it about you, because this is about you. So does it work for you and does it feel right? Those are the things that I think we should look at and evaluate. And if all of those things are there, or you feel like they can be worked on with your therapist and you can talk through them, then great, that's perfect. And if they're not there, or you don't feel like it's right and you're just like, ugh, my gut tells me it's not a right fit, or these things just aren't right, then there's no problem or shame with changing therapists. That's totally fine. This is about you and what works best for you. And I know sometimes there can be issues with changing as far as, you know, insurance or finances, or finding somebody to open up to, or starting that process over of opening up. Sometimes we stick with people just because we don't want to go through the whole process of telling our story again, right? And all of that stuff is valid and true, but it also can be worked through. There's always a way to work through those things and find a fit that may be better for you and may get you more healing and more of what you need and deserve. So that is my 4 little tips. If you have any to add, please add, let me know, comment, tell me. Let's keep making this list of signs that you have a good therapeutic relationship. And then I'll also probably do a video on signs that you're not in a good therapeutic relationship, or you're seeing a bad therapist or something like that, if that's something that interests you guys. So let me know. Comment below, reach out to me on my website, submit a question. All of that stuff is always open for you, and I am here for you, and I hope that helps, guys. All right, see you later.